Welcome everybody to Metro TV. We've got a great show today. I'll be speaking to the folks from ALS in the Heartland, also the Durham Museum, talking about their traditional tree lighting ceremony and holiday celebrations, and also a really great interview with Mike Kelly, retired Omaha World Herald columnist. So don't go away, we will be right back. Well, welcome back. I'm here with Tammy Stalzer. She is the executive director for ALS. You know, I say ALH because those are my initials.
Absolutely.
ALS in the Heartland. So Tammy, thank you and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about ALS.
Okay.
And what that is. You know, what that means for somebody diagnosed with it.
Right. Well, ALS is more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Okay.
And what it means is the neurons that direct or control every single voluntary muscle in a person's body no longer work.
Okay.
So they quit working over time. Maybe it starts in the upper extremities, the arms, the hands, etc. Maybe it starts in the bulbar region, which would be diaphragm, breathing, swallowing. Maybe it starts in the lower extremities, the feet, the legs,
Okay.
etc. But what does remain working the entire time is their brain. They continue to have their personality and they have their memory. We often say they're locked as a prisoner in their own body as the end of the disease progress happens. They haven't figured out why it happens. There is not a treatment and there is no cure. So typically 2 to 5 years is the annual lifespan with this disease.
Once you find out.
Once you're diagnosed.
Yeah. So ALS, in the Heartland, you're independent, an independent organization. So let's just talk about that for a minute, and then we'll talk about exactly what programs you offer here.
Okay. Well, yeah, so over 12 years ago now, in June, we were 12 years old. Some patient families, people who had loved ones or had at the time loved ones living with ALS, decided to become their own independent ALS in the Heartland organization. We are not funded by or affiliated with the National ALS Association. There is a National ALS Association. The Mid-America chapter in the Omaha area also does great work. But we decided, or they decided at the time, to break away and help people right here, right now. 100% of every dollar stays in Nebraska and Western Iowa to serve people living with this disease. So it became not about, there's amazing research going on. ALS Association is doing that. In the meantime, Lou Gehrig was a long time ago, and there hasn't been a lot founded or figured out. So what can we do to help a person who's going to potentially live for 2 to 5 years right now living with this disease? So we want people to get help from everybody so that they can get what they need and have the best quality of life they can while they're living with the disease.
Right. So the programs kind of include, is it their just care, their day-to-day care for, or resources for the families?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All of the above. So we have these amazing 2 social workers who every patient family is assigned. They go in and they help the families with everything from what resources do you need? What do you think is going to happen next? How can I help your family?
Right.
And importantly, the caregiver, who becomes a 24/7 caregiver. How can we best help them? We have support groups for the caregivers. We have a respite program that allows maybe that caregiver to take a break, go get groceries.
Sure.
It might be as simple as that. Usually a break is maybe that. But so that a licensed professional can come in and still give quality care to the family. All of these services are free of charge. They have children often, the people living with ALS, and maybe they can't afford, it's a very expensive disease by the time you need equipment, et cetera, caregivers, hospice, whatever it may be. Recently we had, through our children's fund, we allowed a child, her mom has ALS and she is going to college to become a neurologist just because of her mom. And she is, we were able to help buy her textbooks for college because they can't afford it. So we can do those things, whatever it may be.
That's really great. Well, I know you have some fundraising events that raise money to help you help the family. So in the last just couple minutes, let's talk about what those are.
Okay, yeah, we really have to do that because we don't have that national
absolutely.
overseeing us. We have to have that fundraising piece. Right now, we're doing, it's nearing the end of 2018, I can't believe it, but we're doing an annual appeal. Of course, there's Giving Tuesday on November 27th, but more than that, we do an annual appeal where we try to make around $30,000 that will go back to families so they can get hours of respite care, new equipment, whatever it may be that they need. And then we're planning already our 2019 events.
Sure. Well, you have to. My gosh.
It's go time. It's go time. So we do our largest walk is in Omaha, Nebraska at Baxter Arena on March 31st. We actually call it our Walk and Rally for Hope this year because there's a lot of people who say I can't walk.
Right.
And then we can say, that's okay. We're really there as a festival type atmosphere to rally for hope, a cure, whatever it is. We get together and we have a lot of fun.
Sure.
And then we have a golf classic at Tiburon.
Okay.
On June 28th. It's a Friday. That's always fun.
Okay.
Sells out very early. We're planning a wine and beer event, usually in August.
Yeah.
It's at Shops of Legacy. It's so fun.
That is.
And then we have walks around the state.
Okay. Well, how can people, if they want to learn more about your organization, your chapter, what's the website address for that?
Yeah, www.alsintheheartland.org.
Okay. Just like it.
Just
like
that.
Just like the
yeah.
name. So,
yep.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I mean, this is a devastating disease, but it's just, to have your chapter here to provide those resources for people locally, so important. So thank you again.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And we will be right back. Welcome back. I am here with the amazing Mike Kelly, retired Omaha World Herald columnist. Mike, thanks for being on the show with me.
Thank you for having me. This is great, Andy.
I'm excited about this interview, and we also have a great story coming out in our December issue on you. But I'm excited just to sit down and talk to you because I don't know a lot of the answers to these questions that I'm going to ask, so I'm going to be learning some things. How did you happen to come to Omaha?
I met a gal. She'd grown up in Omaha, moved to Cincinnati, my hometown. Through her, I met some friends. When I was in college, I took a spring break of any college student's dream, Omaha. It was great. We had a wonderful week, and when I graduated, I thought, well, I'll apply for a job there. Thought Omaha might be a nice place to go for 2 to 3 years.
Sure.
Stayed, and no regrets. I've loved it here.
Oh my goodness. So how long has that been?
48 years.
48 years. Okay. And like you said, you stayed. Why did you stay? Just a great community.
Yeah, I had opportunities to go elsewhere, but I had a succession of interesting jobs, starting out when your father was a World Herald reporter, and he was one of my mentors, really, in the beginning. And so I did, covered cops, courts, city hall, a lot of other things. And then sports dropped out of the sky on me one day. I was not seeking to go there, but they made me sports editor and sports columnist. That was a very interesting decade.
And tell me the decade. Was that the 60s?
81 to 91.
81, okay.
And so I was replaced. The tough part, it was sports editor and columnist. And they split that back into 2 jobs when I left.
Right.
And then since then, I've written this general interest column that I've just loved doing.
So I'm going to go back and just talk about my dad, Bob Hoig. Any good stories about him or interactions or?
Oh my gosh. I was very young, and he was a veteran reporter, and of course started Midland's Business Journal and done
75, yeah.
Wonderful with that. But we had to do a story about it was about prostitution in Omaha. And,
right.
And anyway, we went down to this old seedy hotel in South Omaha, and he walked in, and we were of course not identifying ourselves as reporters, and ask, you know, where do we get girls or whatever. I was very embarrassed. I didn't. Anyway, what he wrote was so funny and opened my eyes a little bit. It said when he asked this question, he said she could not have looked more amazed if I had asked to see the originals of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I thought, you can just write that? That's cool.
So you kind of learned a little bit about writing style and what you
sure.
can, you know, put yourself out there. So you, like you said, you were a sports editor and sports columnist. That just kind of fell into your lap, and then you switched back to news and have written this great column. I'm going to ask for a few stories about your, you know, years writing the column, but I want to ask you, how do you think newspapers have changed?
Totally. You know, the revenue is the problem. We didn't realize how good we had it. I didn't, from a revenue standpoint. There was a time when if you were going to advertise, you pretty much had to go to the newspaper if you wanted to get it out. As we know today, there are many different ways to advertise. So the problem is not that newspapers aren't good quality. I think ours is excellent, but the revenue isn't there. So we don't have as many people. The push is more towards digital. I don't know, people are guessing how long are we going to still have print newspapers. I'm told that 80% of our revenue, believe it or not, still comes from print edition. But we can see what the trends are because like every other newspaper, the print editions or subscriptions are dropping.
Well, and I also feel like that we can get, or the person, I mean, we and people can get their news from the television, from online sites. I mean, there's just all these different avenues to get news. I mean, not so much local, but there still are other ways to get
What you don't necessarily get is a newspaper's main function is that of watchdog of the government. We have had some wonderful investigative pieces in recent years. Before that, your newspaper ties the community together.
Yeah.
You get to know people, especially some of the columns like Matthew Hansen, Aaron Grace, Tom Chattel,
right,
and sports. So a newspaper is still very vital to a community,
Absolutely.
in my opinion.
So memorable news columns. So we've got a little time to talk about some memorable news columns.
Well, so many. I wrote about a fellow who was my age, born the day before me, which meant his draft lottery number was number 7. Mine was 264. He ends up dying in Vietnam. Years later, in the early 90s, for Memorial Day, I went back and interviewed his family and friends.
Wow.
That story got picked up around the country and really touched a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have to say, stories about my daughter Bridget really gotten the most reaction of all. And for people who don't know, she survived a horrible attack. She was abducted, raped, and shot and left for dead.
I remember that.
She survived it. Spoke out on behalf of survivors of sexual violence. Her story got out nationally. She did lots of interviews, including ABC 2020, and she ends up marrying the producer,
Really?
Eric Strauss, and they now have 2 little boys
Oh my
and live in
gosh.
New York. So
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, and I just admire her so much for taking such a traumatic event and turning it around and doing good with it. Because a lot of times you can just close up and.
she became a volunteer advocate in New York City emergency
Yeah.
rooms, went through training, and
Wow.
she'd be on call and could be assigned to any ER.
Yeah, God bless her. And she's speaking at the Omaha Town Hall speaker?
Yeah,
What's
March
that?
27th. She's
Okay.
the town hall speaker, so it'll be great.
Yeah. So you're not only a newspaper columnist, you are an MC, you are a singer, you are a speaker. Let's talk a little bit about that.
That's been great to feel even more part of the community for me. I mean, just being a newspaper writer gets you involved in the community. But to be able to do a lot of charity events like you cover, and in more recent years, singing. I used to sing in Omaha Press Club shows.
I remember that.
Making fun of public figures.
Right.
But in the last 5 or 6 years, I've actually taken jazz singing lessons and now one-on-one lessons with Anne Marie Kenny, Susie Thorne previously.
Yep.
And so I've been doing more singing around town. That's been fun.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Omaha's volunteerism and charitable spirit. I mean, I know you're involved in a lot of those types of events as well. There's so many.
I just think if all the people who just stop if they stop volunteering, what would happen to this community? It would just shut down. I'm always touched by that and how broadly based it is and so many different things. I mean, just look at your magazine and see, it's
Yeah.
amazing how you carved out that niche to cover all these events. You know, the
Yeah.
newspaper has had a section where
Sure.
we covered them, but they're really, it's just a part of the heartbeat of our
It is.
community.
And there's so many of them, and there's so many people that are impacted by those fundraising events. So let's talk about, so branching out into singing, you touched on that a little bit. I know you had a big 70th birthday
Oh my
bash.
gosh. Anne Marie, my vocal coach, said, you know, I'd say you should put on a show. Why would I do that? Okay, I'm turning 70. So a boy turns 70 only once.
Well, of course.
And so we had about 300 people there, 7-piece band. It was fun and funny. A little bit, part of it was like the press club show. Others were very poignant and touching too.
Yeah.
Steve Jordan, my buddy who retired
Yeah.
same day as me, we did the News Brothers, not the
Oh my God,
not
I
the
love
Blues
that.
Brothers, but the News
The
Brothers.
News Brothers. How fun that would have been to see. So we've just got a couple minutes left. You've got a book here in front of you.
Oh.
Let's talk about the book.
Thank you for mentioning this.
Well, you're welcome.
This is a book I wrote originally 3 years ago called Uniquely Omaha. And it's a beautiful coffee table book, lots of
Oh,
photos
that is beautiful.
from the World Herald, and I did
Yeah.
all the copy on it. And I'm happy to say it sold out its first printing. I
Wow.
used to do a joke, I'd say my book is now in its 4th printing. The first 3 were blurry. They weren't, but we sold out the first 5,000, and now we've reprinted and we've updated. We've
Okay,
gone through
'cause-
and updated everything. And
Because a few things have changed throughout the course of you writing it the first time.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
well, I hope to keep singing. My family also lives in Cincinnati, so I'm going to be moving there, but also coming back to Omaha
Yeah.
a lot every month, I think. So.
Yeah.
This-
What are you going to miss the most about Omaha?
Oh my gosh, well, I'm going to miss writing and just, I guess, getting, you know, the contact that you have with people, whether it's through my columns or, you know, being out speaking, emceeing, singing.
Yeah.
So I want to keep some of that going. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm going to keep coming back. I love this community.
You need to start a Mike Kelly blog where people can stay up to date on your life and
I should do that.
See
I'll look
what's-
into that.
see what's going on. So,
All
any final words before we?
Just luckiest thing happened to me was coming to Omaha.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I had opportunities elsewhere, and boy, no regrets about staying.
Well, I've certainly appreciated the stories that you've shared, both on very serious notes and also on very lighthearted notes. They've been, I think people have truly just, that's been a bright spot in their day for so many years, and you are definitely going to be missed.
Oh, thank you so much.
But think about that blog.
I will.
Okay. All
Thanks,
right.
Andy.
Thank you so much for coming, and we will be right back.
On the first day of January, 1892, they opened Ellis Island and they let the people through. And the first to cross the threshold of that Isle of Hope and Tears was Annie Moore from Ireland, who was all of 15 years. Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fears, but it's not the isle you left behind. That Isle of hunger, Isle of pain, Isle you'll never see again, but the Isle of home is always on your mind.
Well, welcome back. I am here with Elise Hernandez. She is with the Durham Museum, and you are the Special Events Coordinator?
Special Events Manager.
Manager,
yes.
okay. Well, welcome, Elise.
Thank you.
Well, one of my favorite things about the holidays is going to the Durham Museum. It's such a tradition and has been for so many years. So I want to talk a little bit about Christmas at Union Station, long-standing holiday tradition for so many people. When does it all begin?
So it all begins with our tree lighting ceremony, which is on November 23rd. It's Black Friday. We light our big Christmas tree. It's a 45-foot blue spruce. And Santa is there. We do holiday sing-alongs. We decorate cookies and have milk and do some crafts with Mangelsons.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some things on the news and in the paper about the tree arriving, and I know that's just such a big exciting time at the museum. So
it's our favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
It is one of the biggest trees we've ever had this year.
Really? Okay.
Yes, so it's 50-foot blue spruce. It comes locally from Jay and Kelly and Contra.
Okay. That has to be quite a decision to make when you select a tree to be at the Durham. It's a big decision.
It is. We had over 57 people call and ask for us to look at their trees this year. We go and we look at every single one of them. And this year is a really special tree. We chose it because it's a beautiful big tree, but there's a special meaning behind it. Jay and Kelly told us after we had already picked it that they are donating it in honor of Kelly's 2 daughters who died in a car accident in 2010, about a week before Christmas.
Oh my goodness, God bless them.
So this is just a way for them to honor their memory. Their favorite time of year was Christmas, so it's just kind of coming full circle. And we
kind of cried. Yeah.
Yes, we are so honored to have this be a special part of their lives as well as ours.
Yeah. So the tree lighting ceremony is that Friday after Thanksgiving, with a lot of festivities. Will the festivities last through the weekend?
We have events going all through December, actually. So that weekend, Santa will be in the house on Saturday and Sundays leading up till Christmas, starting with the day after the tree lighting ceremony. We also have our holiday concert series going on that weekend, where we have local youth groups and choirs come and perform for us. And then Santa also comes to our Family Nights with Santa, which is every Tuesday night in December. And he comes, people can see him, give their Christmas wish lists. We also have crafts those nights and musicians as well.
I mean, gosh, so much going on, and it's pretty much, people can come 7 days a week to visit?
Yep, after Thanksgiving, we will be open 7 days a week.
Okay.
And the tree will be there and lit every day.
Okay, like what are the times each day?
So we are open from 10 to 5 every day. Sunday, we're open 1 to 5.
Okay.
And then Tuesday nights, we're open late till 8, and that's the nights that Santa is there.
How wonderful. So you also partner with Shine the Light on Hunger campaign during this season. So tell me about that and how people can help.
We really want to give back to the community, and so people can help by bringing a non-perishable item. We will have a big blue barrel at the front desk, and when they come, they can just bring it, and at the end of the season, we turn it all back over to the food bank.
Yeah, wonderful. And again, such a special time of year for people to come out. If they want to learn more, where should they go?
You should visit us online at durhammuseum.org. You can also give us a call. We'll be happy to talk to you about Christmas.
Yeah, and we got about a minute left, so let's just talk about like how many people typically go through the museum this time of year?
This is our busiest time of year. On tree lighting ceremony, we see almost 2,500 people that day. So
oh my goodness.
We do suggest you come early. The fun starts at 4 o'clock. We have scavenger hunts for the little kids through downstairs. They get elf hats. There's a lot of fun and things to do.
So that Friday after Thanksgiving, what are the hours that day?
That day we do open at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
The fun starts at 4 o'clock and goes until 8, and the tree lighting happens right about 7 o'clock.
Okay, I've been to that before, and it's just so fun to see the kids, and it's just a big celebration.
It's a great tradition for a lot of families. It kind of kicks off our season. It kicks off a lot of people's holiday season. And actually, back when the museum was Union Station, the Union Pacific used to bring in trees from the Northwest, and they would have a giant tree as well. So
Okay.
when we became a museum, we kind of picked back up that tradition, but we take trees from the local community instead.
Wonderful. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to visiting the museum during the holiday season.
We look forward to having you.
And website one more time?
DurhamMuseum.org.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and I want to say happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving week, and we're entering the holiday season, which can be a very stressful time for a lot of us. And, you know, it is kind of the season of gratitude and being thankful and giving. And I just want to remind you that, you know, as you go along and meet with your families and holiday shopping, just to really remember what's important and what to be grateful for. There's so much chaos in the world, or it seems that way, so we can kind of get sucked down into just the crap of it all. And for me in my own life, you know, there is a lot of stress, but I just wake up each morning, and honestly, before I get out of bed, I spend a few moments really being grateful for having a roof over my head, for having a business that I own, for having a family, you know, to support and who supports me. A lot of people, you know, with all the wildfires going on in California and other kind of crazy, chaotic, catastrophic things going on around the country and the world, you know, they can't say that. So I just encourage you all to look inside and just to remember when things get stressful that there is a lot to be grateful for. One of my favorite sayings is, how does it get any better than this? And I say that when things are going good, knowing that more good is going to come upon me. And I say it when things are going bad. How does it get any better than this? And then just let life, the universe, God, show you what it all is possible. So let's look at possibilities this holiday season. And I just wish you the best Thanksgiving and look forward to our upcoming shows over December. And thank you so much. I am grateful for you. Thank you.